Either that's a literal mystery box or they're going to release some Cenobites. Hello everyone, I am Mecha Random. Woo, 42. Holy crap, that's loud. The one, the only, the original. Your favorite YouTube harpy. Yeah, I was just watching Picard. I think. I don't know, between last week's episode, which was Saw. Hey, a literal mystery box is not surprising, coming from people like Alex Kurtzman, who were under the JJ School of Filmmaking, the JJ Abrams Mystery Box School of Filmmaking. This is why we just say this is a continuation of Bad Robot Trek, because all the people at Secret Hideout who are responsible for this production, oh yeah, it has nothing to do with Star Trek. It's a whole bunch of Secret Hideout people coming in and making CSI space beard boy teenagers humping each other?
Damn, we're smooth.
Is that what Star Trek am now? Because that seems to be what Star Trek am now. And I don't even know how to review this episode. I don't know how to start. This episode, I'm trying my best to watch it as the viewing audience wants you to. And it starts off with a very boring flashback sequence because we can't tell linear stories from point A to point B because we don't know what the crap we're doing. We're just trying to jump in the middle of the thing and start going without any world building, without any setup, because luckily for them, they had Star Trek to fall back on that actually had the world built around it. But no, we've got to break how Star Trek's world worked to fit this story in with people who are more interested in jumping in and out of bed with each other, the drama, the conflict, the interpersonal conflict that we had kind of evolved past in Star Trek. You know, people weren't out to screw each other over. People weren't out to get one up. People weren't just disgusting human beings in Star Trek. And I think that's what's really the biggest issue here. Between that and the teenagers jumping in and out of bed with each other. Yeah, like literally. Like, literally. Now, I don't know what the show's fetish is for these guys that all kind of look scraggly, but they all have the same Ethan Peck look.
I like science.
And, you know, that's fine. I'm not, like, saying he's not allowed to look like that. I'm sure he's a very wonderful person. I'm sure everybody on this show are very wonderful people in real life. But they all kind of have, and now this is our Romulan. This is our Romulan. He's having a giggity fling with his sister, apparently. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but yeah, he's having a giggity scene with his sister, apparently. This isn't his sister, though. This is the robot chick who's supposed to turn into Data at the end of the thing. And again, just the Beard Boys. Just this show and these Beard Boys. The captain, is his name Rios? I don't remember. The captain on their little junker ship looks like that. This guy looks like that.
Damn, we're smooth.
They all kind of have that beard boy look to them where, you know what, have a beard or don't have a beard. Don't go in between. It looks a little itchy. Not gonna lie, it looks a little itchy. So when this chick isn't busy jumping in and out of bed with our little Romulan, then we have to suffer through some of the most boring Star Trek. We got Picard here actually having what looks to be PTSD because he's there researching the Borg stuff and he finds out that Hugh is working on the artifact and, hey, remember Hugh? I remember Hugh.
Yeah. Remember Alex? Remember? Hey, remember Ghostbusters? Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I remember Hugh too. So he's over there on the artifact, and yeah, I got the little logo obscuring it because, bite my copyright, this is fair use for critique and recap purposes, and we're using more stills than footage, but sometimes we need to, you know, for emphasis. Just like when we get the writing crop. Oh yeah. This was probably one of the most Star Trek things, and there's a really good shot here where he's sitting down and he's got his little see-through computer screen, and you see his face through, like, behind the picture of him as Locutus. And that actually, I'm like, oh, that could be a Star Trek thing. That could actually be something out of real Star Trek and not, this stuff. And I know people are going to be like, oh, Star Trek always had violence. Star Trek always had violence. Star Trek always had brutality. All right, you're arguing the details like argumentative little people. And, it's not about the details about that. I'm not somebody who likes to argue every specific detail because I misspeak. I use the wrong words sometimes. I can't concentrate on all the little details because every time I stop, then I'll miss 30 other things. So I'm trying my best to watch this show like somebody who's on Twitter all day will watch this show. In one ear and out the other, right? And that's how people are enjoying this. And I can see that. When you just stop paying attention for like 10-minute blocks while you're off looking at, whatever you're looking at. I was looking at this because I thought this was funnier. And I'm obscuring the bulge on purpose. This is basically a man's sort of onesie here. Yeah. Man onesie. No, it's a romper. And that was a little bit more entertaining to me than sitting there watching Star Trek. I gotta admit it. So I ended up sitting there looking at all the weird, ridiculous outfits for men lately and not really getting a lot of this because it's so boring. It takes forever to do anything. And for every one thing that's kind of interesting or one thing that's almost Star Trek-like, there's 50 other things that are just so annoying or irritating or hard to sit through. It's a very slow-paced episode of nothing happening until something finally does, and you're like, I don't care about any of this because these people on this show suck. The characters on this show suck. I don't care what their motivation is, what they're doing, anything about these people. They are only there to move the story from point A to point B at this point. And thank you so much for subscribing. If you do like my content, like, subscribe, share. Every subscribe gets a jiggle, apparently. I don't know. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. But yeah, this shot where you see Patrick Stewart behind the Locutus thing and it zooms in all dramatic and you see this. I did like this shot. It really gave me some sort of an impact here. And I'm like, had this been written by people who actually had some sort of an understanding of what the bigger picture of Star Trek was, instead of basically just going in and breaking the entire series just to make this story work, then I wouldn't really have a problem. I mean, I don't like the fact that people on Star Trek are no better than the people who I blocked a year ago on Twitter who are still out there. I'm still getting screenshots of it, who are still out there obsessed with me for what? Not liking something that they like. And I'm disgusted that it condones that sort of behavior in humanity. I want us to be better than that. I want us to be better than the antagonistic, bratty little people going around saying, oh, but there was always violence. There was always brutality. Ha ha ha, we love that you hate it, doesn't it? All right, you know what? I'm sure you love that we don't like this show, and that is exactly the problem with the type of fan base that this sort of storytelling will attract. You're gonna have your people who like it at different levels, and that's fine. You're going to have your different levels of fandom. We've always had our different levels of fandom. It used to be debates of, okay, well, here, if this ship can go from here to here and it takes this long, then why did the continuity and inconsistencies in the episode make it take this long? That type of stuff, I don't mind. Give me something, and then I can always justify it as, well, it's just television. Right? But this really, really brings out the most mean-spirited, cynical, hateful, in my opinion, sort of fan out of the woodwork. And it started with Discovery.
I like science.
And it's been a problem ever since. And it's one of the things that they really, really, really need to fix, because it is an example of the whole cancel culture problem. It is it is a symptom of that. It is that same mentality where you have one thing that somebody doesn't like, and then you go out of your way to destroy them. And that is exactly the type of people that I see out there defending the show tooth and nail. Not everybody, but I see enough of them to really, really know that that's kind of the base problem of the show, is that it feeds into this mean-spirited, trollish mentality fan that just likes to feed on people not liking something. They like to feed on people being miserable. And that is the type of people this really, really draws out of the woodwork. You know, the people who probably would have never tolerated Star Trek the first time around because it would have been a little bit too corny, a little too cookie cutter, and they would have only focused in on the couple of episodes here and there where somebody's head exploded. And they would have only focused in on the bad part of society. And that's all they would see. They wouldn't see the bigger picture. They wouldn't see that Star Trek used to be this hopeful, optimistic look at, hey, humanity evolved past all this crap. And I guess a perfect example, a perfect time to bring up the whole druggie on the ship would be now. Oh, here we go. Here's Alice. I guess her name's Agnes. I don't care what her name is because she's really not important. She's the one who murdered Maddox in the last episode. Well, now she's going to jump in and out of bed with this beard boy.
Damn, we're smooth.
Because that's what Star Trek is now. Like I said, and she's probably over 30. I'm sure the actress is, and he's over 30 as well. I just see these as all very samey looking sort of guy. I mean, whoever's casting that show has a type. They certainly have a type, and they like their beard boys.
Damn, we're smooth.
Beard boys.
This is so fucking cool.
It is fucking cool.
So sorry.
And to go back to the other point I'm making about the show, about it being not in the spirit of humanity having evolved, I guess. And, this is where we get in those people, those argumentative little people who are like, oh, there's always been substance stuff in Star Trek. They would always, yeah. But never to function, never as an addiction, There's nothing wrong with taking a little hit, right? In my opinion. I am in Colorado. I am very much an advocate for it. Because that is harmless. When you get into the psychotics and the hallucinogens and the basic, she's addicted. She's addicted to this so much where she cannot function. She cannot function unless she has something. She has that before she even makes a call. Well, it's not just the fact that they're doing it. And I think the people who want to get online and argue the fact that, there's always this in Star, they are not understanding what we're saying. Yes, they've always shown that, yes, vices do exist in Star Trek, but you would treat it as the disease part of it. You would treat it as, hey, what is wrong in your life that you're going through this substance? We can fix the problem instead of just letting you, blame the government for taking your baby. That's what it is. That's what this is. It's just showcasing this stereotype again, and that they're using somebody who's, she's not exactly white, to prove their point is just one more stereotype that the people who like to insist how woke they are and how progressive they are forget about. It's like, okay, so portraying the one woman who's not exactly white on this show as being that much of a loser is only perpetuating these stereotypes. See, this is Star Trek. We've evolved past this crap. Now, anybody who wants to tell me otherwise, I know you guys are pretty decent, and most of the people who want to stalk my stuff tend to just stalk me over on Twitter after, being blocked on a couple of different accounts. But that's not just vaping space weed.
Smoke weed every day.
It's not. That's actually a hallucinogen she's supposed to be on. That is something that's going to mess up her brain chemically instead of just work as a pain reliever. Here's the thing. So in this scene, she has to go and call in a favor to try and get access into Romulan space that they're already in. Their whole plot is, oh, well, we're just going to tell them. You know, nothing sneaky, nothing contrived. We're just going to be honest. Jean-Luc finds out that he knows Hugh on the ship. Hugh will do him a favor no matter what, whether he's supposed to or not. They're going over to that Romulan cube, you know, the artifact, and that's where the Hellraiser puzzle box is. Because, you know, reasons. But this is one of probably the more Star Trek-y scenes where she's there talking to a captain, a higher up. She's trying to gain access. And then at the end, the captain lady's like, yeah, don't ever call me again as a friend. Because she's kind of overstepped and asked for one too many favors and is kind of a bit of a loser. Yeah, so they decide that this is a suicide mission too. Like I said, this is probably the most Star Trek part of it. This is probably the most interesting part of it, is when they're actually on a ship doing Star Trek sort of things. When it gets into this whole, and now we're getting into Game of Thrones. And now we're getting into the mystery box stuff, like literal puzzle boxes being mystery boxes. That's where I have the most issue with this show. And it's still not in the spirit of Star Trek. It is a chore to sit through. It is tedious to sit through. This was probably the best episode of all of them so far. Either that or I'm just really succumbing to Stockholm Syndrome, I suppose. I don't know yet. And even then, it's still tedious to sit through. I would rather be doing anything else. I'd rather be arguing on Twitter. At this point, I would rather be looking up stupid crap online because it's not engaging. It's not interesting. I don't care about the well-being of these characters. I don't care about this robot chick. I mean, you got the one, you killed her off in the first episode. You got this new one. I don't care. She just seems to be too busy worrying about, you know, getting her oil changed, so to speak, getting her gender fluid changed.
Gender fluid.
And make sure, if you are a robot chick, make sure to have your gender fluid changed every 3,000 miles or 3 dicks. I mean, is 3 dicks a good rule? I don't know. She seems a bit quick to jump in and out of bed with every beard boy that they bring up on the show.
Damn, we're smooth.
But that's just my assessment. I gotta give this episode, if I have to rate it, a 4. It's got to be a 4. It may be a high 4 because there's parts of it that could have been Star Trek had they had, you know, some Star Trek people working on it. Other than that, it is so bland, so boring, so generic, so hard to pay attention to. I just watched 4 episodes of Voyager recently and I wanted to sit through more. I actively want to see what the next thing is. I was wanting to watch episodes that had nothing to do with anything that I actually need to watch them for either. Because it's that good of a show. It's that interesting and that engaging. And Picard is none of those things. Picard is taking everything that I hate about modern society, bringing out the worst in people, and continue, right? That's what it is. It's not about anything uplifting or anything humanitarian. There's no reason that I should care about any of these characters. I wouldn't bat an eye if any of them died. I mean, because the only person they actually had the nerve to kill off so far they actually gave a crap about was Icheb. And that was in the most horrific and graphic way possible. They didn't cut. They didn't give you any implied gore. This isn't like First Contact or pretty much any time you see the Borg ever previously where there was cut away before the needle goes into somebody's eye. No. They actually plunk, pop it out, chop it off, show everything. Definitely check out that review if you want to see it. Oh yeah, I couldn't let it end with this. I could not let the video end before I talked about this. So the ending of the episode they release. This is literally a puzzle. It is a puzzle box. It comes open. It is exactly like something from Hellraiser, but it releases radiation is what they're explaining this as. This girl, this Soji Dodge, whatever the fuck her name is, whatever the crap her name is, she digs through a wooden floor in this. The wooden floor isn't the problem. The fact that she could dig through the wooden floor to escape, to survive, and somehow manage to make it through bulkheads of a Borg cube. Now, I'm not an expert on what every alloy material the Borg cube is made out of, but I would assume on a starship, any kind of spacefaring vessel, you're going to have sealed off bulkheads in rooms, because space is a vacuum. Space will suck out all of the air out of the room, no matter what. And this is why you need airtight rooms and corridors and things on spaceships, so you can minimize the damage to it. And I know the Borg would have force fields. The Borg would have kind of an atmosphere inside, and that's how, you'd have their shields down, but you could still kind of be in there and you could still survive. But this is explained as a radiation. Now, wouldn't radiation leak through a floor, especially if she's making her way out? I know it's a nitpick, but she turns into a damn superhero here. And it takes you right out of the show. It takes me right out of the show. So she goes and jumps through the floor like, okay, so what? You just had a floorboard and then nothing under there? You didn't have like a bulkhead? You didn't have metal and grating? It's a Borg cube. Oh, and that's just one more thing that just takes me right out of the show. If I have to go and look up, knowing what I kind of know about space, technology, science fiction, if I have to kind of stop and wonder, okay, A, why? And B, why does this guy look like a Minbari on his head? He just needs the bone around his head from Babylon 5. Oh, it's just one more thing that just takes me right out of the episode. So yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I am MechaRandom42, and can we please fix this show or cancel it? Because I am tired of Star Trek being dragged around, propped up with its lifeless body. Like what? What's the point? What is the point of reanimating the corpse of Star Trek? Let it go. Just let it go until you can do it justice. We don't need these little Alex Kurtzmans and those type of people coming in and littering up something that they don't understand. And like I said, it brings out the worst type of people who defend the thing. And there's nothing wrong if you like it. Just don't come at me trying to pick a fight with me if you disagree with me. I am MechaRandom42, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!